You want to see a baby gate? Biggest one in the country. Circles like, my God, like a square mile. So I'm even hesitating to just film myself now, whether I put this out there or not, but I just need to express myself a little bit. I'm not writing like I used to, and I don't even really see the point because nobody reads, and things are just like moving like this. I mean, nothing can matter until Trump is gone. Nothing is allowed to matter until Trump is gone. No one is allowed to breathe until Trump is gone because he just fucking inserts his bullshit constantly. So why even try to make something that you think has a foundation when it could just be fucking torn down tomorrow? So I'm gonna put myself out there this way. I mean, my God, Facebook, I can't count how many times I've written a response on something and then thought to myself, wait, why am I even chiming in on this? And totally deleting it. And then it's just like, why am I chiming in on this? Because, well, I haven't had any constant contact of any kind in a long time. And then fucking Wabaka, even less. Ice cream season. You know what? I'm sorry, but we're just not at a place right now where an ice cream store, an ice cream truck is whatever. But I saw an upscale ice cream store and one woman walk in to buy an ice cream cone, walk out, and there's, you know, the poor person back there with the mask on. Like, we're just not at a point where you need to go have ice cream scooped for you. Like, I think we all need to understand that we're at a point where you have ice cream at home. You get it at the grocery store. And you can scoop yourself as big a cone as you want or as small a cone as you want. There is no point in asking someone to stand inside a place where people are coming in and out. I don't care about masks or not masks. Of course they should be wearing masks. But you know they're gonna start eating that ice cream before they walk out anyway. You don't need to have your ice cream scooped for you right now, America. You do not need to have your ice cream scooped for you right now, America. And this is coming from someone who scooped ice cream as a teenager. But the 90s was a very different time where people just had money to burn on bullshit. I mean, Amazon was Amazon Books. It was a competitor to Barnes & Noble and Borders, which were just giant stores full of books. Books. My God, people just had enough money to just buy books and DVDs and just collect this shit. Get to a point where they're not even keeping up on top of it. I mean, I can speak for myself. I definitely have a bookshelf full of books that I have not read, and I've had for years. But anyway, so I just want to say that I feel really sorry for all the service men and women right now, because their superiors have made it pretty clear they don't give a fuck about you. Whatever deal you signed for stability, financial stability or whatever, they think they own you. And I can tell you why. The number of officers and National Guard and all kinds of service people in DC on the 4th of July standing around with their thumbs up their butts was unbelievable. And you know what that tells me? This holiday that's supposed to celebrate being American is more important to the people who are your fucking bosses to be entertained by you and fucking protected by you, and they would rather your family celebrate without you. Think about that, please. It's not fucking worth it. They don't give a fuck about you. And you know what? The moment that American soldiers open fire on American citizens, which Trump is pushing for it, these aren't American citizens to him. These Antifa, Black Lives Matter denigrates Fifth Avenue are you. out of your minds to work for someone like that and not put them down immediately. The man has broken the law I don't know how many times already. He denigrates his fucking humanity. He denigrates humanity by being orange. Fucking prick. And then the videos I've seen, because I was not going to go out on 4th of July. Fuck that. First of all, we're still in a pandemic. Second of all, what the fuck? Oh, look at these fucking idiots. No masks. All white. Fucking carbon copies of themselves. Anyway, the videos are two different Americas. And one is much bigger than the other. But the one that's smaller and more dangerous are the ones that are protected by all these armed soldiers who have to have their families celebrate without them because their superiors don't give a fuck about them. And in fact, the more battered they are, the more they'll batter us. So it works out in the fucking leaders, the ones in control. It works in their favor anyway to treat you like shit. Seeing soldiers, American soldiers, be treated like shit and threaten my safety is horrifying. I'm sitting on my balcony last night and a fucking stealth bomber flew overhead. I thought it was a spaceship for a moment. I'm traumatized from that. Why? For us to be entertained. No one's asking for that entertainment. Nobody wants to hear those fucking terrible army bands playing that bullshit stuff. Like, you can't... With America being the biggest supplier of entertainment in the world, and the fucking president can't have amazing entertainment at Mount Rushmore, that he can't have amazing entertainment on the 4th of July, should speak volumes about, first of all, how much people fucking hate this guy, and also how fucking much he doesn't think at all about this country and like its culture. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't have any ability. I mean, you listen to the way he talks about this country. This country is horrible, except for him. Well, you know what? If he wants his fucking face on the $1 bill, like the Joker, I mean, my God, the reflection of, I mean, this place, fuck this country. This is fucking horrible. It's just horrible. It's horrible to think about the person who works at that ice cream store that's only open for a few assholes to come through who can't scoop their own ice cream in the time of a pandemic. So they have to be there. They have to take the money they're going to be offered, which means the employer is going to probably say, hey, I can't employ you anymore, or this is the only thing I can pay you. And I'm just going to unload for a moment, and this is just for me anyway. It feels good to talk to somebody. It's too bad it's you. It's okay. If I can't love myself, who else can I love? So I love you. But, you know, let's talk about ownership of stuff. Ownership of a business. You own a business. It does not mean you are going to get rich. In fact, you might not even be the biggest earner in the business. I'm sorry, but like, you know, WWF may have signed Hulk Hogan's checks, but Hulk Hogan was making more money than the person at the top, and that's how it should have been. You know what? Because the person at the top doesn't have to go out and still be Hulk Hogan. The person at the top just has to make sure Hulk Hogan is... Why am I even bringing up Hulk Hogan? He's a fucking known racist. Oh my God. Cut. Take two. I mean, owning a business means you don't have to clean the toilets, and you don't have to be the final word. You pay people for their opinions and their judgment, and you pay people to clean your toilets. Now, you still own that toilet, so you should be willing to clean it. It's yours. You own it. And you should be willing and able to give the final word. But you should not own a business because you think you're going to get rich. No, you don't have to clean the toilet that you own, and you don't have to make all the decisions. In fact, a good business owner treats it like an opportunity for people to do well, and by them doing that, you will do less. Now, if some of them make more money than you do in the process, well, they're your front line. They're the ones making it happen. You're not cleaning the toilet. In fact, you don't have to clean the toilet you own because they're doing a well enough job of keeping that toilet clean because, well, the opportunity that you have provided for them makes them happy and they want to respect it. You know? We've got it so fucking backwards. Why bail out these businesses that you have no idea how much money they're even going to make, rather than bailing out the people that would even patronize these businesses in the first place? I don't know, that's the moral of this. We should not be scooping our own. We should not be having someone else scoop our own ice cream. Wait. We should not have someone scoop ice cream for us at this time in our lives. At this point in history. At this point in time, we should be resourceful enough to not expect and need someone to scoop ice cream for us. There you go. There you go. Oh, that feels better to get it out. That feels so much better. So some of the videos I saw from downtown DC for the 4th of July, because I was not about to participate in any of that, was two Americas, man. You've got the smaller group, thank God, who have all the armed protection, my God, are the ones who are saying, right on, America, because we get to be as terrible and disrespectful and ignorant and hateful, and the only way we win is if somebody else loses, and the only reason we lose is because there's somebody's to blame. There's that America, and people are so proud of being in a country where they can just be so fucking terrible. Fuck you. Who cares about you, right? And then you've got the other people that are like, fuck you. How can you not care about people? Like, I can't celebrate a country that is supposed to care about people and obviously doesn't, right? We have children in cages. We have what I suspect are white shooters driving around Chicago killing these kids. I've heard no descriptions of any cars, right? I think people would have seen cars. There's street cameras, unless they're being protected, unless they're like pretty proud boys. Unless they're proud boys. When they had the Unite the Right 2 rally, 2 years ago? It feels like 2 lifetimes ago. The amount of security and armed police and stuff was insane. The private secured metro cars they had for these people was insane, and it was like 25 people. You know how much money all of us who came out there, to the thousands of us that went out to just express our disgust that this is in our backyards, and we had to pay for it? My God. But just what a tale of two countries. My God. just horrific. It's truly horrific. We got, like I said, what I suspect are white shooters killing these children. You have that former Alabama coach who basically said you have to kill them off to fix this. What are we doing putting children in cages, separating them from their families, trying, basically destroying a whole generation, right? Well, what have they done for years to poor families, disproportionately black? They have destroyed the families. What did they do in slavery? First thing they did was destroy families, because that just weakens a people for a generation, for generations. For generations. You mean to tell me these people, these fucking Klan, these white supremacist racists, who to be that in 2020 means you're pretty dangerous, because you're armed with all kinds of firepower. You're gonna tell me you're not thinking about taking out a whole generation? Shit, if police officers aren't allowed to kill teenagers anymore and young kids, someone's got to do it. It's fucking terrible. Well, let's see, what else? I had one more terrible thing I wanted to talk about. What was it? I mean, at the end of Superfly, how does Superfly threaten the fucking white cop? He says, I got killers, white killers. The worst of the worst. Actually, I want to go out on a high note. When I do think of what makes me proud of America, it's all, if I were to just go directly to what it is or follow the roots of it, it's always a black success story that I'm so proud of. James Brown, to be a child in the middle of nothing, born in the situation he was, and to come out just so organized and determined and talented and just breaking so many rules. And someone like Charlie Parker, my God, he's not too far removed from the cotton fields. There are probably people still out in Missouri where he was born, still in cotton fields, not really realizing that shit's over. Completely illiterate, and look what he became before the age of 40. I mean, I think he died at 36. I hope I'm right with that. I hope I'm not too far off. Those are amazing. Duke Ellington, Paul Robeson, in light of all the obstacles, broke through in a way that nobody still has since. Over a global fame and fortune that, it's not like everyone had telephones. It's not like everyone had televisions. It's not like everyone was literate to be known across the world when communications are just not guaranteed. That is America. My God. Prince, that is America. A suburb kid, breaking all kinds of genres and boundaries, and Aretha Franklin. I mean, my God, she's if you want to believe all the horror stories that have been told about her being just victimized by her own father, and just the mistreatment and indoctrination of religion on her, and how she was still able to process that all in such a positive way. I mean, these are American success stories. I mean, fucking Bo Jackson, he played 2 sports, man, 2 for years, and was the best in both. He was a hero to a whole generation of kids. Never lifted weights. The guy went out bow hunting. He was kind of rednecky in his own way, running around the woods and shit. But those are American. That's what makes me proud to be American, right? black success stories are like so much of that American pride and like national identity for like who we are as a country. Like, do you really think Tupac Shakur isn't world famous? And because he's American, that makes people have a view of America as being something like fucking awesome. Well, I mean, those days are gone. If we can't get this shit back and just like, god damn it. Like, sure, ignorance is a choice, but why would you choose to be ignorant? Why would you be so proud of your choice to be ignorant and not want to be better? Like, we've won being born human. So the only thing we owe to the world is trying to be, the best. Try to be strong and stable and compassionate and, humble and thankful and powerful. I mean, my God, there is so much strength in humility. In true humility. There's so much strength in love when it's true, truly love. I should probably check my phone because I am working, but deep thoughts with Jack Handy. All right. Jacking off in San Diego. A little thought I thunk that I'd like to set free. Now, back when I still had a flip phone, I would have written it down. But you don't need to do that when you got video. I'll write it down later. But so I think one of the more troubling things for me at this time, today is July 5th, it's a Sunday, is the oversimplifying of things. I just read a bit of the Mueller report, which I haven't read. A bit that was, I haven't read the Mueller report, and I definitely haven't read a part that was just released, and it's complicated. There's a lot to digest, and I think that, my God, this country just has no patience, and we don't have a diet that can allow us to digest this thing. Like what is actually happening. So with conspiracy theorists, it's usually just like such an insane oversimplification that sounds complicated because it makes it easier to digest something complicated when you oversimplify it by making it just nonsense. Also, when people are saying things like, there's no difference between Trump and Biden or Republicans and Democrats. Now, obviously, celebrating similarities and identifying shared habituation is very important. We should not get hung up on our differences. But those similarities are not balanced out at all. There is a big difference. There is a big difference. And it gets into complicated little nuances and gray areas, and it gets complicated. So for people to just make blanket statements like that, it's oversimplifying it to make it easier to digest. Now, I was saying earlier, we do not live in a day and age where we should be having someone scoop our ice cream for us. Well, we just are not in a day and age where we need to give a fuck about like the quick fix. McDonald's is fucking terrible, and you know what? You don't realize it till you've already paid and you've driven off, because no one's going in to sit there anymore. Even when you sit there, you've already paid. It's way more expensive than it should be, and it's never good. My God, I had it for the first time in a long time. I was like, that was just terrible. Like, the whole meal was awful, and it cost almost $10. The best thing about it was the Coca-Cola. Again, I could have gotten 3 2-liters for $5 and had it at home all week. And I could pour myself to-go cups if I wanted to, rather than go through there. So we're just not in that day and age. So oversimplifying things to make it easier to digest is just unhealthy as shit. Just like making eating less of a hassle is bad for your health. It's bad for your diet. And things are so complicated, and the health benefits are so complicated in oversimplifying things. Health benefits, the health complications are so complicated. What I'm just trying to say is, like, we're not in a place where the easy route exists. It just doesn't. Now, you can make things complicated, take complicated things and make them simple by breaking down the piece by piece and repetition. If you have kids, you need to kind of go old time on them. They need to have things they have to do every day. Now, keep it simple by making it the same thing. But they get up in the morning, they make their siblings' bed. Don't stress about how well they do it. Hopefully they'll do it well sometimes because they wanted to. And other times they don't do it well because it's kind of funny. But they realize they have to, like, uphold some kind of social contract. Then, maybe they sweep a kitchen floor. Who cares if they do it well? Some days they might. Most days they probably won't. But at least they know they're expected to do those things, and they just do them, right? And it contributes and it helps out. And we also live in a day and age where we have, like, the most incredible luxury and for our leisure. If you're busy all day working, doing stuff, well, when you're finally free, you have, like, there's a PlayStation 4 that exists, and a 60-inch television at your home, and Netflix, and Bluetooth speakers, and your you can have multiple things going on at the same time, like on big presentations. You can get food delivered to you. Now, again, I really don't think that we need to be expecting someone to scoop our ice cream for us. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have your downtime, there is, like, the most incredible stuff for that. So we need to lay into just being better, being the best we can. And it's easier to do with a team. So I implore you, with families, to not get overwhelmed by that, and actually take comfort in that you have a team and people can play their roles. When you join a basketball team, chances are you don't show up unaware of what position you're going to be playing and how to play that position. In fact, you play the same position so that you can learn more and more about the role of that position, and how doing the role of that position helps the team be successful and competitive. And while I'm just on a roll, just verbally expressing myself through my mouth hole, through my sound pie, through my noisemaker, is so Plato's Republic, it starts with the leaders. These are bigwig, important people who make important decisions for Greece. And they are discussing what justice is. And now, not only can none of them agree on what justice is, even though they all have stated at the beginning that they know what justice is, because they make judgments on justice all the time, for the fate of citizens, right? So none of them can define what justice is, and none of them can agree on what justice is. And then on top of that, part of why they can't define justice is because they keep using the word justice to define justice. Because, justice. So Socrates points out the problems with this once they've burned everybody down and shown that they have no idea what they're talking about. And he says, well, obviously, we need to think of a different context in order to define justice. Because all of us are using the context of the world we live in right now and the way we govern and the way we think we should govern and our religion and just blah, 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 blah. We're using that context to define justice, and we can't define justice. So we need to start over. We need to picture a whole new thing. Okay? And the whole new thing is the Republic. And it starts off with we have to change the why we are story, literally. So everything needs to be thrown out, right? And the new story needs to exist. So they basically go through and argue and find out where there's problems with the ideas of the new context, a new society, and whether or not they can finally define justice in the context of that new society. So with all that said, and I don't want to say that's an oversimplification of what it is, but it is definitely 2 minutes based on something that might take you 2 years to really read if you don't really kick your own butt to do it in 2 months. So if we can't define justice within the context of our world now, well, we need a new context. I think we need a new context very, very badly. In fact, I think survival depends on a new context. One of the elements of the Republic and the new story that is the story, right? It's the story of why we are. Is that humanity was created from 3 different types of precious metals from the earth, right? Most of humanity is made with bronze. A much smaller portion of humanity is made with silver, and the smallest part of humanity is made with gold. Now, the bronze is full of every kind of person. Geniuses, thinkers, writers, entertainers, artists, just, coaches. The bronze is pretty much everything, right? Just think of any occupation is bronze. It's all bronze. It's all bronze. And bronze it's not holding you back at all. Some of the most important and famous people are bronze. But the bronze are the doers, right? They're the people who need to do things. They need to create things. They interact with community and blah, 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 blah. And justice for the folks who are made with bronze is finding their gift and doing that and being allowed to thrive and survive by doing that. This is the ancient world, so they're talking about shoemaking and stuff. But yeah, that's the bronze. Now the silver is very interesting. Silver gets a lot of description because it's a little harder to grasp because few of us are silver. So for someone bronze like myself, I kind of get what bronze is. Silver, I don't get it because I'm not silver. But basically, silver are the guardians. Silver are what we would probably consider a good cop. an honorable soldier. People who put others before them are stronger of spirit, where isolation is actually important to them. Staying just training, just someone who's just always training, and not for competing, but training to be the best defense they can be if they are needed to be a defense. Those are the silver. Silver can have family, but silver typically aren't concerned with family. They don't need to have a family. In fact, they probably avoid avoid even the steps that would lead to family, because they're just focused on a mission, on a goal, for lack of better words right now. So that's silver. Silver are the ones that keep us safe, and all silver wants to be able to do is be allowed to keep us safe. They don't need anything else. They don't even need to really interact with us. You know, they don't need to be down on the streets and stuff. I'm sure they do, but they don't need to. They're more in their place, alone, eyes on the horizon, and feeling so confident that if they see anything out there that is cause for alarm, that person can handle it, and that they know where other silver individuals are that feel the exact same way. So there's the silver. Now the gold, which is the smallest, are the philosopher kings, and people have, criticized Plato for being kind of self-serving here. But you got to understand that Plato is using his awe of someone like Socrates, someone who was just kind of, he was put to death by the state. Apparently he walked around with one shoe. He was basically like, he wasn't homeless, but he was never home, and he was just so in awe of Socrates that, he just was like, the only people who are just there, like the silver are more concerned with the well-being of the bronze. They're like the shepherd. The shepherd is more concerned about the flock than what's on television at home, and feels just at peace being alone in that field under the stars, and just feeling ready, feeling just feeling strong and human, and buck. So the philosopher kings, similar to the silver, the philosopher kings, they're not in it for family and favor. They are in this world to always be understanding the picture, and that desire to always understand the picture and to respect the breadth that all humanity has is to lead in such a way that humanity can thrive and survive. And being at war is not thriving. It sometimes is not even surviving, right? Being able to thrive and survive without war is, that's the ideal. Being able to survive and thrive in balance with the literal ground that holds you up from falling into the middle of the earth, falling into the center of the planet. To be able to respect and appreciate that the millions and billions of years it's been here, it will continue to be here and continue to give to us as we give back to it. To ensure that if there is war, that the proper care and concern is is considered and valued and respected and treasured and honored for the people they are responsible for. Okay? But because of their, kookiness, in terms of all they care about is knowledge, and it's not to weaponize knowledge, it's to be able, as Socrates is speaking about in Statesman, in Plato's dialogue titled Statesman, is a great leader, a learned leader, a philosopher leader, is someone who understands weaving, who knows how a loom works and respects and cares about that. Now, why? Well, a rope is strands braided together to create something much stronger than any of those strands would have been unbraided or unwoven. To reach into the spirits of everybody is to take their souls, their strands of their souls that make them them, and to be able to weave them together not only makes people stronger, but to have a respect and care for the loom, and to be an artist with just the thought is to be able to create beautiful patterns with the spirits of people that you're weaving together to make their connection stronger, and to let their colors come out and create one piece that is it's more than its threads. In fact, each little thread is pretty unimpressive, but all of them together is awe-inspiring. So within that kind of context, justice is defined. There is an ability to define justice in that context. But again, the context that they explore and create, they had to create it. But that's the whole point of a philosopher king. If you can go, this thing, it's like, I think the story is it was a 24-hour conversation. I could be wrong with that, but it's a long conversation, not a wasted breath, and to go through and to really with care and intellectual honesty and curiosity to explore a something else in order to get a definition of justice that actually can stand up to scrutiny and challenge. My God, I feel so much better talking to the camera, and I hope I decide to let this find other ears, and I really appreciate if they did. I just got home. It's time to make some vegetarian risotto because I stopped eating meat over a month ago, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. And I'm gonna go do that. So just much love. Love is where knowledge comes from, because you're open to receiving, right? You can't learn anything new if you can't receive. So with love and rock and roll, I bid you peace.